Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for World Trigger Episode 4. Alright, and last week we didn't have an episode. This week it's back, and that animation, that was not good. The drawings were off too, like with specifically with I and with Yuma. There were a lot of times, especially in the beginning, where they just looked really weird. Just not right. Alright, so Toei is doing what I thought they would do, except much earlier on. You'd think that after a week off they'd actually put out a well animated episode, but half the episode was just the characters in literally the same exact spot and just their mouths moving. Like that was what most of the episode was, which is disappointing. But oh well. The episode pretty much had to be carried by the story and the dialogue. Um, some parts were enjoyable. Yuma tried to put I in her place, which was funny because she was talking about how triggers belong to Border and you need permission to use them. And Yuma was like, "Oh no, they don't. Triggers belong to neighbors, and you don't ask for the neighbors' permission to use them." All right, so. He kind of just put her in her place there, though he did risk blowing his cover because how in the world could Yuma know that? Like, I'm surprised they didn't actually address that. You know, how in the world does this random kid from another country know about the fact that triggers came from neighbors? Like, what? Like, I can't imagine that's something that's public knowledge. I can't imagine. So, yeah, I guess I don't. Yeah, yeah. I'm surprised they didn't actually address that at all. But oh well. Um, Yuma ends up accusing Ai of being jealous of Osamu's praise, and she obviously denies it. But she gets caught in a lie by Yuma. And when he mentioned this has happened a lot, where Yuma talks about, oh man, you make up the stupidest lies, and they always zoom into his eyes when he says that. So I mean, again, this is not the first time it's happened. So maybe I don't want to. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. I'll just leave it there. But things at the school end up playing out, and Osamu ends up having to go to Border HQ in order to figure out if he's going to get punishment or not. All right. And as he and Yuma are leaving, Ai is waiting for them at the entrance to the school. All right. And she's keeping an eye on him because she feels threatened by him, because she's thinking the C rank kid just did something impressive. Like, what? Like, no, I'm just as good as that. I can do that too. I'm better than that. But she feels threatened. She feels like this random kid is kind of starting to infringe on her territory. As the high school kid that's really freaking, well, there are a lot of high school kids that are really freaking good in Border, but she was just jealous, like Yuma said, jealous of the fact that he was getting all that praise for something that she can do very easily. Um, and she wants to just keep an eye on him, one, because she feels threatened, and two, because she wants to legitimately gauge his abilities and see what he can actually do. I would assume, because at the end of the day, she was making up excuse after excuse, for why it is that she was well, she technically wasn't following Osamu because she was actually in front, so technically he was following her, but she was guiding him to HQ. Let's put it that way. She was like a guide to HQ. All right. But yeah, throughout this entire episode, there was a lot of dialogue, but a lot of it was just stuff that's already been talked about. So yeah, there's no real need to go into detail about it. But one thing that is important to notice, that we see one of those little mini soldiers again. One of those little mini soldiers, and it starts to open a gate. All right, and when the gate fully opens, an Ilgar shows up. All right, and the Ilgar specialty is bombing. All right, so we have a soldier that specializes in bombing, attacking, and capturing so far. All right, and obviously these little ones opening up gates. Alright, so we've got a few different types of soldier now. Alright, um, and this is a soldier that apparently is, according to Yuma, is rare. Because even I hasn't seen it before, and she's A rank. Alright, which we got a little explanation of the system there. It's pretty simple. A rank, B rank, C rank. There's S rank as well. Yeah, that no real need to go into detail on that either. It's pretty straightforward. Um, I completely forgot what I was talking. Ilgar. There you go. There you go. Ilgar. It's like 5 o'clock right now. Well, no, it's daylight savings time, so it's actually 4 o'clock. But I need to go to bed. Jesus. All right. Jesus, I'm like half awake right now. And I'm trying to pretend like I have energy when in reality I don't have any energy at all. Um, so let me just finish this review real quick, because I'm pretty much at the end anyway. The Ilgar shows up and Osamu wants to go help fight it, but he can't because he doesn't have enough Tryon to actually form his weapon. So he decides to go help people in the city. And there was one moment where this rebel collapses on top of him, but we realize a couple seconds later that he's actually fine. So at that point I was like, sometimes I need to try and remind myself that that's not his real body, so it doesn't, something like that obviously wouldn't hurt him because it's not his real body, you know. So I had to keep reminding myself of that. But yeah, Osami is helping people in the city, and I wants to try and fight this Ilgar alone. Right, and Yuma is supposed to help if it ends up being necessary, which it probably will, because why tell him to help if it's necessary if you're never actually going to make it necessary for him to help? Right, from a writing perspective, it just doesn't make any sense. So Yuma's definitely going to end up helping, and she protected herself against the one attack, but it's very clear that she just does not know what this soldier is capable of. She just doesn't know because all of its attacks are catching her completely off guard. She's never seen this type before. She needs help from someone with actual knowledge on it. So next episode it will probably get Ai and Yuma fighting the Ilgar. Without I finding out that Yuma is helping her, which will be interesting to see. We saw in the preview, we saw some of the higher ups in Border, so that should be cool, seeing these guys for the first time officially. Though we did see one guy already in like episode 2, I want to say. But yeah, like around the same time we met Miwa. And actually no, we heard Miwa's name, but the other guy's name wasn't officially introduced or officially revealed yet, so I'll just keep quiet on that. But yeah, that's what's going on for next week. So yeah. As for this episode, though, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It was average at best. Yeah, not much story progression at all until the end. Yeah, it was just an average episode, really. There was literally nothing there to really enjoy. Like, I'm not, if I say it like that, it sounds really bad. But I mean, like, there was nothing that happened in this episode where you're watching it thinking like, oh man, that's pretty cool, that's really good, you know. Like, there really was nothing there. Um, Most of the episode was them talking freeze frame with just their mouths moving. I mean, there was just like not much there in this episode. So I'll give it a 6 out of 10, and that's that, you guys. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.